All right, Seton, poll question. What are we going to settle with first hour?
Well, Paulie just sent one over. Better job in professional sports, head coach or a general manager?
Well, I got a little bit more job security as a general manager.
Yeah.
Because more and more, sooner than later, we're blaming the head coach. It just feels like it used to be that you had stability and you're very prideful that your coach had been there for a while. Now, you can look around the league, and there are a few of these coaches. You know, Ty Lue, the Clippers just signed him up, making him one of the highest-paid coaches. You have Eric Spoelstra, who might be the best head coach in the NBA. Gregg Popovich, still, at an elite level with what he's done in San Antonio. So you're trying to get stability, but you can't have stability if you don't have that at the coaching position, because a coach comes in, then he's going to change his offense, change his defense, players he wants in, players that he may not want. Then you have turnover again. That's why when you look at success with a lot of players, it's really difficult to be great if you don't have stability with your head coach. Let's start with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Stability. Tom Brady had that in New England. Stability. Peyton Manning when he had Tony Dungy in Indianapolis. Stability. Having that is just such a great advantage, a weapon, because when you see what happened in Chicago with Justin Fields, if you're going to bring in somebody and a different offensive coordinator, it's difficult. The job is difficult enough. Now you bring in somebody who has a different philosophy. And hopefully, Caleb Williams is able to have Matt Eberflus as his head coach for a while. Now, I don't know if he'll last that long. Then you have another person coming in, head coach, his philosophy. He likes to do it this way, offensive coordinator. Same thing with managers in baseball. Having that guy, I always loved Terry Francona because I just thought he was one of the great managers in the history of the game. And he managed in a different style. Then all of a sudden, he's a player's manager. Well, they thrive, they survive, they end up ending the curse, all of the great things that he did in Boston. But then, well, the players are taking advantage of it. He's too nice to him. Now you ship him out to Cleveland. And he did a wonderful job in Cleveland as well. But having that person who's always there, if I'm a player, then I know what he's saying. Now, you can wear out your welcome. Pat Riley wore out his welcome with the Lakers. He was very difficult on them. But they played at a very high level, a championship level. But after a while, today's player tunes you out. But I would hope that you get more than 1 or 2 years. But we've seen that with the Lakers, you get 2 years. The Suns, you get 1 year. J.J. Redick may be coming in. How many years does he get? And you're looking at the coaching expectancy, your shelf life. It's not long. It's really difficult to hold on to a job, it feels like, for over a decade in one place. And that's the problem that we have with a lot of these athletes is they don't develop correctly because they don't have that stability. So I'd want to be a GM because I can hold on to that job. It's like you never blame the GM until he might make a trade, doesn't make a trade, a bad draft pick. But the coach is the one who's going to get blamed because we see the results. Well, you got to blame him. He's at the press conference. GM's not always showing up. His media availability is probably limited for a reason. But being a GM, yeah, I'm a little bit more secure. There's some insulation there in the house. Yes, Paulie.
While being a GM, you think you got all the power, you're in control, you choose the coach. Do you think any part of it would bother you that the coach gets all the credit? Like the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid's the face beyond the players.
Yeah.
The face of the team, going to the Hall of Fame, all that stuff. Brett Veach is the GM. Yeah. If you don't know a lot about football, you don't know who he is, and he could walk around casually without being bothered. Do you think the lack of credit or notoriety would bother you?
I'd have to know a case-by-case situation. I don't think you could put a blanket over that. And I don't know if Jerry West, it mattered to Jerry being a GM that, hey, Phil Jackson's getting all the credit or somebody else is getting all the credit. I don't know if Red Auerbach, when he became the GM of the Celtics, was bothered that K.C. Jones or Tommy Heinsohn was getting more credit there. I think it'd be a case-by-case situation. But, Ron Wolf is a Hall of Fame GM. And I like that, these sports are now expanding who they consider to be Hall of Famers. Ron Wolf's a Hall of Famer. Brett Veach, what he's done in Kansas City should be considered a Hall of Famer. I don't know how many GMs. Bill Polian, I think, is in the Hall of Fame as a GM. I don't know how many GMs are in the Hall of Fame. Ron Wolf, I believe, is as well. But when you consider building a team, that's how you build a team. Having a great GM who's able to go, this is how we're going to do it. These are the players. I like this player. We're going to sign that player. We're going to release that player. We'll let Tyreek Hill go to Miami. We'll bring in some draft picks here. Yes, Seton.
That's why, when people say winning is hard, it's like after you've won, sometimes it's the hardest part because that's when everybody has their hand out for credit.
Yeah.
Players want money. Executives want credit. It's the head coach who did it. Well, it's really the GM who put the players, but the owner is the guy who signs the check. So all of a sudden, everybody's like, no. This is the team that I built. I'm the one who did it. You need the right mix of people to not do that.
And there's certain franchises, teams, where the owners love to take a victory lap. Some take a victory lap and they haven't won anything in 30 years. But, Robert Kraft got around to being a celebrity. Like he was a great owner, doesn't get in the way, you don't hear anything. Then all of a sudden we go behind the curtain and all of a sudden we realize there was some real friction there for over a decade. And then he's out in front. Hey, Meek Mill is my friend. Hey, I'm going to be at the roast. I'm Robert Kraft.
Me and Meek.
Yes.
At the Fanatics white party or
Yes,
whatever it is.
whatever.
Everybody's in all white. Yes,
Yeah.
me too.
But you do have owners who do like that credit. Mark Cuban's always there courtside. Yeah, he's there and he'll take a victory lap. But I think that's also interesting as well. Certain franchises don't do that. The Steeler organization, it's not like they're taking victory laps. The Giants organization when they were winning. Certain organizations, like they keep it, this is my job, this is what I do, and if a coach gets out there. I still go back to one of the stranger moments I had. There was a trophy ceremony when the Spurs won the Western Conference Finals. Tim Duncan was there, and they were going to go play in the NBA Finals. And I remember Popovich wanted nothing to do with the trophy ceremony. Nothing. And, I'm hosting it. I'm trying to get him to come up. He's like, nope, it's about them. Didn't want any credit. I mean, he's still one of the more elusive coaches that I've ever been involved with in, 40 years. He just doesn't care. It's not his job. He's not there to sell anything. But he's also not saying, hey, what about me? I'm a pretty good coach here. Yeah, Paulie.
He won't have to worry about any trophy ceremonies anytime soon.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Hey, he's snarky. He could take it.
All right.
So he didn't want to go out there?
So we're never getting Gregg Popovich on for sure.
Doubly.
Yeah. Man.
Okay.
If you had the over-under at 10 minutes for snark, it's right at 10 minutes and about 15 seconds.
He dishes it out.
Yeah, he does.
He's dishing it out for you.
I thank God I was never a sideline reporter. Coach, what do you think of their man-to-man defense?
Because he would have just seen you and just been like, licking his chops.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He would have immediately,
okay, yeah. All
both
right.
barrels, Patrick.
Yeah, let me hear how great a shooter you are. Okay, talking hairdo. Yeah.
Which is a sign of respect if he's going to crap on you.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe.
Unless they do it on live TV, then it's not.
Yeah,
that's not fun.
true.
No, that's not fun. Yes, Paul.
If you had to be any GM all time, it's got to be Theo Epstein, right? You got titles with the Red Sox and a title with the Cubs. That's the walk-off. I mean, unless he joins the Cleveland Indians or whatever they're called these days and gets one there, that's unbelievable.
Well, I'd say Jerry West and Red Auerbach with what they did.
Jerry did 2 franchises, right?
Yeah. But I would say with Jerry, man, he had a pretty good run there. And Red, what he did, I mean, like there's certain guys, if they called, I wouldn't pick up the phone. I would tell my secretary, if you get a Boston area code or an LA area code, don't pick up. Because if it's Jerry West or Red Auerbach, I'm going to get fleeced. I don't know how, but somehow I'm going to get fleeced. Line 1, Mr. Auerbach. I'm not here. No. Yes, Marv.
These days, Sam Presti seems like that guy where he's a really famous GM for sure.
Yeah, but he's just gotten draft picks. Now, I got the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander trade with, Paul George and got draft picks there. He just came out and admitted he never should have brought in Gordon Hayward.
I was just going to say, man, God, I've been meaning to bring that up.
Yes.
The Gordon Hayward, Sam Presti thing is so interesting.
Poor, Gordon Hayward. He's like, hey, I'm trending. What happened? Yeah, the GM said that he made a mistake bringing you into Oklahoma City.
Well, he hasn't exactly been shy either about this isn't what I thought it was going to be. He's been very vocal about coming here was a mistake because I thought I was going to be, a piece of the puzzle. But what was the quote he had? This train's already moving and it's hard to jump on. So he said something like that. How often do you get a player being like, this was a mistake, and the GM being like, yeah, it was. No offense, but yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Todd.
Can't you allude on either side of that to poor decisions without actually saying somebody by name? I'm sure everybody could figure it out, especially someone that covers the team regularly, but you have to actually say the person. I just don't think that's necessary.
All right. Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
I thought it was great.
I mean, when the person themselves is the one talking about it first.
Yeah, you're acknowledging it. You're co-signing on it. Like, hey, Gordon's right, man. I never should have brought him in. It was the wrong situation for him.
And it isn't. I don't think that I didn't get the sense they were doing it to be rude or anything. They were like, hey, you know what? Our bad. He's a good player and he deserves to play more. But we just don't have space for him.
Yes, Paul.
Gordon Hayward this year with Oklahoma City averaged 5.5 points per game in limited action and made $33 million.
Yeah, I know.
Attaboy.
Yeah, but you can't look at salaries anymore in the NBA because everybody makes, 25, 30 million. I mean, you do get some guys that I'll see, he signed a 2-year deal for $10 million. And I go, $10 million each season? No, total of 10. I'm like, wow. What's it like to go into the locker room and you got somebody who's making, $10 million first half of the season? No, first month of the season. And then you're making $10 million over 2 years. Just the disparity sometimes in these contracts is crazy. Yes, Mark.
In your experience, have you ever seen teams that play a certain guy that's not as good as somebody else, but they have to because of the contracts?
Yes. Or because they drafted somebody high. That's happened many, many times. And players know before anybody else knows if somebody can play. And that's where it's frustrating because you have players that, hey, I'm better than that guy, but they got to save face by playing that guy because they took him with a first-round draft pick. Weird.